Hello there, this is Dana Arcuri, author, speaker, and wellness advocate, and today's topic is going to be more upbeat, and we're going to focus on some positivity and motivation for today. And I have a very unique story to share with you, and the one reason why I'm sharing today a story about red cardinals that give us comfort and hope is because I've had such positive comments and feedback on my other videos where I share stories about the powerful signs of red cardinals. And so I wanted to share another true story. I have many different times in my life, especially over the past 3 years, where red cardinals just kind of showed up out of nowhere. But it didn't just happen for no reason. It always happened because there was this little prayer, and it always began with a little prayer. And so for people who watch the video, Powerful Signs of Red Cardinals, you know that after I had lost my yellow lab, Samson, and that was in 2015, I was really grieving, I was really hurting. You know, many people who are animal lovers, dog lovers, cat lovers, when we lose our furry friends, it is just devastating. And we grieve, we just grieve. And it's so heartbreaking to say goodbye to our pets. And so I ended up way back when in 2015, I had that little prayer. You know, I was grieving. I needed to know that my yellow lab was okay. And I just was really down and out because, hey, he passed away and he was 13 years old. So he had a big part in my life. And I had that little prayer, you know, God, give me a sign that Samson's okay and that you're near, and just help me get through, you know, the tears and the pain and the grief. And within minutes, a red cardinal showed up. Here's my little picture. Okay, here's my little picture, actually big picture, red cardinal. So you could see red cardinals are beautiful, they're magnificent, they have such a vibrant color, and they're actually heavenly messengers. And so since that incident, where I said that little prayer about Samson and I wanted to see a red cardinal, and it wasn't just a fluke, it wasn't just coincidence, it was, in my opinion, supernatural. It was definitely an answer to prayer. And for those, you know, whether you have faith, whether you believe in God, or you just are more of a spiritual person, but not exactly a believer in Jesus, you know, we could all just relate that Mother Nature's beautiful. And there's so many things, whether it's butterflies, whether it's rainbows and wonderful, beautiful things in nature that inspire us. And so I'm really into nature. And so oftentimes I look to these beautiful things, whether it is, you know, the mountains, the first snow of the year, whether it's a wonderful rainbow or what have you. I look to these things sometimes for signs, and oftentimes I say prayers about, you know, hey God, I'm having a bad day, I need a sign. And so I'm going to start my story now. We're going to fast forward to 2016. I was done launching my third book, and I decided that I really didn't think I would ever write another book again. I was in a transition in life, and let me just stop here and talk about transitions, because many of you right now, you are in a transition. And so I call it a sacred wandering. And the thing is, sometimes we think we're lost and we're really not lost. Sometimes we have to go around the mountain and kind of like circle the mountain over and over and over and over. And it's really just some life lessons. And it's this wonderful wilderness journey that really does grow us personally and spiritually and in so many different ways that we could tune in to wonderful things like Mother Nature, intuition, our faith, spirituality, and looking to something that's bigger than us. And isn't that the beauty of it? That there is so much that's bigger than us. And so in 2016, I was at a fork in the road. I didn't know what to do with my life. I had been battling fibromyalgia, already recovered from the benzodiazepine, Cymbalta, gabapentin, flying high with gabapentin, people. That road was done and over and gone. And, you know, hey, I'm happy that I climbed my way up that hill and I fought the good fight, and I'm doing so much better today. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, but I'm doing much better. So I really didn't think I would write another book. And one of the reasons is that there's so much work. When you have like the beginning stage of writing and then the end stage of writing, there is so much that goes into it, which that could be a whole other video in itself, but you get the gist of it, that it's hard work, it's time consuming, it literally takes up all of your energy, all of your inspiration, all of your creativity. I mean, everything just goes straight into the book. And I feel like it's birthing babies. And I always joke about it that I feel like I'm in labor, I feel like I'm birthing babies. Okay, they're books, but still, to me, it's my baby. And so in 2016, I'm struggling. I'm like, no, God, don't want to write no more books. It's hard work. I don't really feel like I'm getting the compensation for it. And so let me just stop here and mention, for anyone who's a writer, anyone who's dreaming of being a writer, I'm not trying to discourage you, and I really do believe that our stories are so important, but understand that unless you're someone like Nicholas Sparks or someone really big, a bestseller out there, it is hard to make a living at being an author. I'm not saying you can't, I'm not saying you shouldn't. By all means, I think telling our story and writing our story is so powerful. And that's why I've been writing stories and books. But in 2016, I just reached a point where I didn't know that that was the pathway I wanted to take anymore. And so what happened was I was in a life transition, major upheavals. Hey, my mom was just diagnosed with stage 3 brain cancer. My dad was battling advanced Alzheimer's, was put into a facility, for dementia and Alzheimer's. I was already pretty much recovered from the benzodiazepines and gabapentin and Cymbalta. So I was in a better place personally and physically and mentally. And so I just felt like I was ready to do something brand new. And I hadn't been working because the whole benzo thing disabled me. Fibromyalgia and the benzos and the Cymbalta and the drug interactions and the wicked withdrawals back in 2010 and 2011 and 2012 just knocked me off my feet. So for many years I was home, and that's why writing was such a great fit, because I'm already home, I'm recovering. It was really helpful in the recovery process to write. I think it does help the brain and cognitive function. You're working the brain in different ways by writing and tapping into different areas within your brain. I think it is super healing. But I was at a place where I thought of getting a real life job. Now, what I mean by that is I thought of just going back into the workplace. And so I started pursuing it, and the whole time I felt like God was saying to write this book. He put it on my heart in 2016 to write this book, 4th book, but I didn't want to. And I kind of had this little struggle, a little wrestling match. Have you ever had that before, where you feel like part of you saying, do this, and another part of you saying, no, do that. So you don't know what to do. And that's what life transitions are all about. Whether you're in the middle of divorce, you're in the middle of an illness, you're in the middle of a recovery, you're in the middle of relationships falling apart, you're in the middle of relocation or the empty nest, or you're sitting in a jail cell wondering what the hell happened to you. There's hope for everyone. No matter where you sit today, there is hope for everyone. And so I ended up in the fall of 2016, after many interviews, getting hired as a licensed makeup artist. That is my background, over 30 plus years of aesthetic skincare, makeup artistry, color analysis, camouflage makeup, and hairstyling. And so I was hired as an esthetician and makeup artist, and I was delighted, and these people offered me, I'm talking mega bucks. So I was sold. I was totally sold, like thinking, this is what I should do. And they were offering me so much money. Let's just say the salary was so ginormous, it was hard for me to say no. And of course, you're thinking about, hey, I've got all these bills to pay. I haven't worked for so long. I'd like to get back to my regular life. And so I thought it was something to do and consider, in which I did. But sometimes things don't work out just as we had hoped or planned. And so within 1 week, of this job, I found out a few things. Number one, I found out that it was just a glorified stock person. Did you hear that? It was titled, you know, my work title was considered a licensed makeup artist and esthetician, but I really believe it was just, they were just using some nice words and giving me a wonderful salary, but the reality of the job, we're talking day-to-day duties, stock, lifting heavy boxes of beauty products and putting everything away, going through inventory, heavy inventory control, tons of paperwork. Did I mention I hate paperwork? Did I mention I have ADHD? So it was not a good fit for me. A, I have fibromyalgia. B, I have herniated discs. C, I don't like paperwork. You know, the whole math and the whole adding things up. And I've always sucked at math. I'm honest. My strength is writing. My weakness is definitely math. And so within 1 week, I ended up sustaining a back injury. I'm talking my back hurt so bad. My body from head to toe was on fire. My fibromyalgia was flaring, and I was in tears because I realized I made a big mistake. And I kind of jumped ahead of God. Instead of waiting on God and thinking, you know, just wait, don't rush into this job, I just went ahead and did my own thing because A, it was good money. It was a full-time position. I really wanted to get back into real life. I felt like being home full-time was a drag. I am a bubbly person. I need to be around people. I thrive being near people. So for me to be home, especially alone, it's really stagnant. I feel like it doesn't grow me personally. And I was challenged with the whole idea of making not really that great money as an author. Barely not making it financially, basically putting out a whole lot more money. It put me in the red. Sometimes being an author, when you're self-published, and we're talking about self-publication, you could end up in the red because you spend all this money on graphic design and formatting and editing. But let's fast forward. Okay, so now I'm hurt. Now I'm in pain. It was Labor Day 2016. I'm at home in tears, can't move, can't walk, can't get out of bed. And mind you, I don't use drugs now. So I had to come up with a plan, let's get some heavy duty strength turmeric. Turmeric is an herbal natural remedy. I highly recommend extra strength turmeric. It is a natural anti-inflammatory. It's great for pain relief. And thank goodness you don't have awful side effects like you do with big pharma. So I got myself some extra strength turmeric. I went and had an MRI of my back. I went to different various doctors. I talked to my workplace. I told them what happened. They were pretty much in denial. You know how that is with a workplace. You got yourself an injury and an accident on the work front. Oh boy. Nope, they don't want to deal with workman's compensation. They denied me workman's compensation. So the end result was I ended up terminating my position. I felt like it was a huge disappointment. And in the end, I actually physically hurt myself. So there were some hard knocks in that time of my life in the fall of 2016. So now I'm home, now I'm in pain, now I'm doing physical therapy. I'm trying to strengthen my back and reduce my fibromyalgia pain and all the spasms, because when you have herniated discs and bulging discs and advanced degenerative disc disease and all the other junk that I'm dealing with, you have to really do a lot of work to regain your health and to reduce the spasms and the pain. So I started doing as much as I could on my own, essential oils and so forth. And then I'm at this new transition. I'm home again and I'm saying, okay, God, I screwed up royally and now I'm home. Now I'm in pain. Wow, you have my attention. And so I said, I'm just going to throw out a prayer. And I thought, desperate times have desperate measures. And I was in a place where I really felt that I was desperate for answers. I needed solutions. I needed to know, what am I doing with my life? You know, I'm tired of fibromyalgia. I'm tired of herniated discs. I'm tired of being beat up and having to fight for my life and fight for my health and having disappointment after disappointment, and here this wonderful job opportunity that was just a big old fail, an epic fail. Just a glorified stock person. And so I said to God, I've never seen 3 red cardinals at the same time. I've seen 1 cardinal and that's it. You know, where I live, there are cardinals, but I've never seen like flocks of cardinals or big families of cardinals. So I thought I'm just gonna like throw out this really audacious prayer. So I said, Lord, if you want me to write this book, so remember this is number 4, 4th book. If you want me to write this book, I need you to show me 3 red cardinals simultaneously, same day, same time, same minute. And I knew this was like a difficult prayer because I was very, very specific. Have you ever had those kind of prayers? Like you're so desperate that you get like very specific, you know? There's a lot of positive feedback on that. You know, a lot of people say when they get more specific with, you know, either way, one, they're throwing out into the universe what they want, or if they're a spiritual person, as far as like a believer in God, then they pray for something specific. So whether you're just spiritual or whether you are a faith believer, either way, that there's something powerful about kind of like telling the world what we want, kind of putting it out there in the universe, and then you just sit back and wait. So that's what I did. So it was October 2016. I asked to see 3 red cardinals at the exact same time. And I needed to see this. And if I saw it, I knew then. It was confirmation, yes, you are to write your book. But I thought, I won't write that book if I don't see 3 red cardinals. So if like years would go by, that book won't get written, people. So I know that like my goal was either A, I see 3 red cardinals and that's my kind of confirmation, or B, months, years, whoever, decades go by and I see no red cardinals, like 3 at the same time, then no, I'm not writing the book. So I really felt like I needed to be very specific. And so it was a month later, whole 30 days went by, whole 30 days. Okay, you ready for this? This is too funny. God has a sense of humor, people. So during that month where I'm like really anticipating seeing red cardinals, 3 red cardinals, none, they disappeared. Just like that, boom, they vanished. I was stumped. So I, again, said a prayer. Lord, you know, you're comical. You're comical, you have a sense of humor, I give you credit for that, but I'm not changing my mind, and I do want to see those 3 red cardinals at the exact same time, on the exact same day and moment, and I'm just going to keep praying this prayer, and if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to write my book. But if it does happen, that's my sign to go ahead and start writing. And so here we go again. Here we go, there's the red cardinal. So, a month went by, I'm laying in bed doing my physical therapy stretches, and I'm still in pain. Mind you, a whole month goes by. I'm still struggling from that job way back when that had me down and out, had my back hurting, messed up my low lumbar area, had my fibromyalgia on fire, and just total pain. And so there I am, 30 days, still trying to get the pain levels down. And remember, I don't use medicine. I don't use any traditional medicine. So at this point, I'm doing all the natural anti-inflammatories that are all like herbal and natural. And I'm just really trying my best to like soak it in Epsom salt tub. But there I was a month later, haven't seen any red cardinals at all. And I'm laying in bed doing physical therapy because that's where I do my physical therapy stretches. And my window's literally in front of me. So I have this perfect view of my window. And I'm laying in bed doing my stretches, you know, doing my stretches, okay? And all of a sudden, 1 red cardinal flew into my backyard and I could see it. But it's just 1. So I, you know, hey, I've seen 1 before. That means nothing. You know, they're great and they're signs and they're miracles, but I needed to see 3. So I continue on, I'm doing my stretches, and a 2nd red cardinal started flying into my yard. So there's 2 now, 2 red cardinals. And I'm thinking, whoa, hold on. So I stopped doing my stretches, and just then a third red cardinal flew into my yard, and the three were kind of fluttering around, meandering around the backyard. So I got out of my bed, I walked to my window, and I'm just excited, ecstatic, like, whoa, wow. Like, I just said this prayer a month ago, and now within 30 days, I am seeing an answer to my prayer. Like, that's super powerful, people. That's super natural. It is a miracle. It really is. And so I'm ecstatic, and I'm watching outside the window these three birds who are just kind of all over the place flying, when all of a sudden, boom, just like that, they get into alignment. 1, 2, 3. So they're all side by side in alignment, kind of like in alignment together, side by side. Of course, fluttering their wings because they need to stay up, but there they are, 1, 2, 3. And I almost felt like God was just kind of chuckling and saying, see that? See that? Look what I did for you. Look what I did for you. And I knew that was confirmation to get started and write that 4th book. And so I did. So that's basically what I started doing. I was blown away. Who would have thought that when you just kind of throw out into the universe this audacious prayer, this request, that I want to see 3 red cardinals simultaneously at the same time, who would have known that this would actually happen, and I would actually see this, and then it would be confirmation. And so the story ends where I saw the 3 birds, and that was in the fall of 2016, and I started writing my book called Sacred Wandering, Growing Your Faith in the Dark. It's about our spiritual wilderness, it's about life transitions, and it's about supernatural miracles that do happen in life, and that there's so many times that when we are seeking answers, the answers are there. We might not see it right away, we might not be aware of what's going on around us. But during this sacred wandering, there is this spiritual awakening, and we start waking up to our purpose and our hopes and our dreams. And even if we are hurting and we're battling opposition, so whether it's physical, emotional, whether it's something legally you're going, having happen in your life, legal problems, whether you have marriage problems, relationship battles, challenges with your kids or your finances. I mean, hey, there's a lot of things, not to mention losing loved ones, losing jobs, losing our health. So that's the whole thing. That's the beauty of the sacred wandering, is that even in the midst of our messy places, there is so much hope for being transformed, for tapping into this supernatural phenomena of the Mother Nature, of things that we want to see, things that we pray for, different hopes, different inspiration that we have. Excuse me, tongue-tied there for a minute. You get the gist that we are living a life, and it's just like living real life, real problems, real struggles, real heartache, real losses, real pain. But in the midst of that, God sends into our lives the beautiful red cardinal, or other things, whether it's a butterfly, whether it's a rainbow, whether it's something else. I mean, everyone is different. Someone might be really into eagles or hawks or blue jays, or something that's not to do with birds. It could be something totally different. It might not even be to do with nature. But the whole point is that when we put into the universe and we speak to God and we pray to God and we lean on something that's so much higher and above us, that there's this wonderful phenomena that happens, that our answers open up, new doors open up. We get answers to prayers. We get to see things come to pass. That wonderful blessings unfold. And so today, if you're struggling in any way, whether it is with a prayer that was never answered, whether it is being jobless or homeless, or having some illness or a relationship problem or anything, no matter what you're battling today, number one, you're not alone. Number two, know that there's hope. And I hope today this inspires you to, whether it's a prayer or just something that you kind of just put out into the universe. You just tell the universe what you want. You tell God what you want. You ask, you pray, and you wait on it. Wait on it with patience, and if it doesn't happen, maybe it wasn't meant to be. And if it does happen, then it is just this wonderful opportunity to then step through that open door and follow your heart, follow your passion, follow your dreams. And if you'd like more encouragement today, or you want to share stories about whether it is red cardinals or butterflies or something supernatural that happened to you, feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and you could check out more at danaarcuri.com. Have an awesome day.